Morning, everyone. Welcome to the C&J Art, Adventure, and Family channel. I'm back in Parque Chacabuco. It's around 6:45. I wasn't planning to go for a walk this morning because we're going out tonight and we're going to be out late. But anyway, here I am. Fourth day in a row, which I am finding it's helping me a lot with regulating my energy. Let's see which way. Let's go this way for change. This way is usually sunny by the time I get here, but since I'm here so early, it's around 6:45 I think, it's still shady. Instead of just giving a general update, I'm just going to talk about dealing with grief and where do you even start? It's funny that, well, not funny, but a friend of mine back in the States lost her mother this year, so she's having a really difficult time. And then another friend brought her mother home for hospice back in October, and they really thought, that her mother would be gone by now, but she's still there. Thank God. And but she's also the only one taking care of her most of the time. Like, she does get help from her sisters, but the majority of the burden has fallen to her. And her mother is bedridden, of course. She's 92, and I know every day with her mother is truly a gift, but to take care of someone who is bedridden and to be the main caregiver, I know exactly how she was feeling right now. And so I guess what I'm saying is grief is a part of life. If you live long enough, you're going to experience grief. And I don't know, I was lucky in that when I was younger, I did not experience any kind of grief like this. I don't remember anyone in our family passing away. My father, he died in 2010, but the grief I felt for him was nowhere near as intense as it is for my brother. Our relationship was different. Our father was very, he was not an easy person to have in your life. Let's put it that way. He caused all of us just so much pain, so much unnecessary pain. And so I have to admit that when he passed away, there might have even been a tiny bit of relief that this person was finally gone. I know how that sounds, but that's the truth. But my brother and I were very much alike. Very much alike in personality, temperament, and the way we think and thought. Even our religious beliefs, pretty much the same. And so it was just, we were always in sync. And one of my cousins once put it this way, that my brother and I formed our own family within a family, and that I was the only one that she knew of that could speak Ritchie. I know his friends also could speak Ritchie, and he did confess to me one time that some things were just easier to talk with them about than with me. Things that he was worried would upset me, like some of the more distressing parts of what he was experiencing while we were in the hospital and so forth. So he didn't tell me everything. Obviously, he didn't want to upset me. But even so, we just spoke each other's language, and he really was my family. Like the remaining members of my immediate family, I am not close to. I love them, but I just find it extremely difficult to get along with them, to have them be an active member of my life. And I confess that's a big reason why I chose to go to South America, because I knew that they would never go here. And I needed that distance, because I needed time to heal from the toxic pattern in our family. You know, I just needed to repeat the old cliche, to find who I was, discover who I was, without those nasty voices ringing in my head all the time. And so that's why, and my brother understood that. He never held it against me. He understood what I needed to do. And my big regret is that I assumed he would always be there because he was the baby of the family. That, of course, turned out not to be true. Anyway, that's a very long-winded way of saying my brother and I formed our own family within a family. We were very much alike. We spoke each other's language. And now he's gone. And just saying those words is extremely painful. And I'm kind of wondering, like, how long is this going to go on? And of course, the obvious answer is, how long is he going to be dead for? For the rest of my life. Like, I know one day we will see each other again in another world, but in this world, he's not here anymore. He's just not here anymore. And the reality of that is difficult to accept, and yet what choice do I have? Okay, what does this say? Con los sueños de ayer construimos la lucha de hoy. That's a talk for another kind of video, not for this one. But anyway, yeah, so as I said in my previous walk and talk, I was kicking myself for missing the first online grief group because the subject was, is this normal? And I'm wondering how much of what I'm going through is normal. And I know all of it is normal. All of it is normal, but all of it also sucks. I lose my temper much easier now. I get frazzled, frustrated, anxious, and stressed out much easier now. And the pain is just never ending. Like, I've been doing this yoga for emotional release, for trauma and emotional release. And that has been helping tremendously. And, you know, I'll do that yoga in the morning, let's say, and for the rest of the day, I'll feel I can function normally. But the pain, there's just more pain to fill it up the very next day. And it's like, let's see, he died in late July, so August, September, October, November, 4.5 months. It's only been 4.5 months. If you can get over that kind of trauma in 4.5 months after taking care of someone, sleeping at the foot of their bed or on chairs or even on the floor, in hospitals, in the hospice, like, how many people are able to stay with their loved ones in a hospice? Like, that just does not happen. And the reason why it happened in my brother's case is because the doctor, one of the doctors that was taking care of him, really went above and beyond to help my brother have to make his last days as comfortable and stress-free as possible. And he saw how much it meant to my brother that I remain with him, or at least someone remained with him. He did not want to be alone. That was the thing. He did not want to be alone. And so, by some miracle, a new hospice house opened up just a month before my brother needed one, back in June. And there was a person in that room, and so they were estimating that maybe the timing wouldn't be right. Like, their worry was the timing wouldn't be right. You know, he would stay in there and my brother would need to go into the other room while waiting for that room, in other words. And for better or worse, the person in that room ended up passing away at exactly the right time to allow my brother and I to have that room. And honestly, a lot of things like that happened during this time. Like, it just like divine help. Like, I remember the night that I really needed to get just a night's sleep with no interruptions. Because if you've ever been, if you've ever stayed in a hospital or hospice, you know that there's no such thing as a full night's sleep. The doctors and nurses are constantly going in there and checking, and I just never got a full night's sleep. And so I was like, I just desperately needed just one night to sleep. And my brother was very upset by this. He did not want me to go. And I felt so bad, and even just recalling that memory just makes me feel so bad. Because I did not want to distress him. And but he got me an Uber. He paid for my Uber. And who should be my Uber but a pastor who had nursed every member of his family through one illness or another. Her nurse, who, if I remember correctly, he had nursed his wife, through her final illness. And so he saw me, he picked me up from the hospital, he saw me with my pillow and all that, and so he immediately had a sense of what was going on. And of course I started to cry in the car when he asked me, like, how's it going, and blah blah blah. And I said, well, my brother's in the hospital, I just wanted a night's sleep, and I feel so bad. And of course I was just bawling. And he reminded me of the Bible verse. I can't remember what it was actually, but he was saying you have to take care of yourself before taking care of others. Like in an airplane, when if there's some kind of emergency and the oxygen masks come down, you have to put your own mask on first, or else you will not be able to put it on anyone else. And so he was saying you have to take care of yourself. But I was like, yeah, but my brother wanted me to stay. And oh my God. Anyway, it felt like, of all the people to be your Uber driver at that moment, like, he didn't take away all my guilt, but it felt really good to cry and for someone to understand what was going on, to bear witness to what was happening. And I really appreciated that. It was exactly what I needed. And so that was another instance of just feeling like things were being guided, and even though we kept praying for a miracle and that miracle never happened, it was like I still felt like I could believe that there is a God, and that things happen for a reason. And maybe my brother, he did not receive that final miracle. He was never cured. Because of some deeper choice he had made throughout his, or choices he had made throughout his life. I don't know But but he did get a lot of extra time, and that alone is a miracle. Like, they told him that back in January that he was going to die, but he didn't. He got better. He got out of hospice. How many people get out of hospice and get well enough to go back to chemo? My brother did that. In any case, he did get the miracle of extra time. That's what I'm saying. And he got a lot of extra time with all his friends, family, and me especially. Like, I remember us talking about this, and I said it's like all the visits that we missed while I was here in Argentina, it feels like we've made up for that, you know, because we were together 24/7, except that one night. Anyway, I'm just getting things off my chest. I know everything I am going through is normal. It's only been 4.5 months, and I do feel more accepting that he is gone. But the pain is still there. And that's because I loved my brother, and I wanted him to be part of my life for the rest of my life. But that's just not what happened. He or God had other plans, and I don't know why, but that was not in my control. But I did do my best to make sure that, you know, this last year was as comfortable and as stress-free for him as possible, as much in my power as it was to help him in that regard. And I do have the satisfaction of knowing that the hospice nurse back in Vallejo, California, she told us that she honestly thought my brother was not going to survive. She really thought he was a goner. But she said the moment I got there, she saw a difference slowly. She saw him slowly get better. Like, the moment I got there, she said she noticed that he calmed down, that he was very stressed before that. But the moment I got there, he calmed down. And so, you know, I would not be surprised if reincarnation is real. I would not be surprised if I was his mother in a past life, or if we've been siblings forever, and we are still siblings. It's just a different. It's just different now. But for now, in terms of grief, I am handling my emotions better. I'm not flying off the handle immediately anymore. I think getting regular exercise helps tremendously. So, yeah. Anyway, I've gone on for almost half an hour, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to support this channel, there's a Buy Me Coffee link down below. And please like and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and hope to see you next time. Ciao!